Hello, students. Today we are going to read a new chapter which is called The World in a Wall, written by Gerald Durrell. First of all, before knowing the main characters and the synopsis of the chapter in brief, we need to know about something about the author. Gerald Durrell, popularly known as Jerry, was a naturalist, author, conservationist, and television presenter. He founded the Durrell Wildlife Conservation Trust and Durrell Wildlife on the Channel Island of Jersey in 1958, which is also known as the Jersey Zoological Park. He is best remembered for writing a number of books based on his life as an animal collector and enthusiast. So, primarily, he was a person who was who loved animals, was fascinated with a lot of variety of animals, and that is why whatever writings he has composed or whatever short stories or things he have written basically deals with animal and his love for animals and themes which are mainly based on animals. His first book, The Overloaded Ark, was published in 1953. He eventually wrote 33 books, including the best-selling The Baffert Beagles, A Zoo in My Luggage, Catch Me a Colobus, and The Stationary Ark. Now, let us go and visit the characters of The World in a Wall. Jerry is the first character who is driven by imagination and fascinated by the extraordinary world around him. He is fond of roaming in fields, discovering marine life, or carrying a scorpion and its babies right up to his bedroom. Larry is the eldest of the siblings and depicted as rather a very mysterious character. He is the masterpiece and the most important character in the story. Leslie, the hot-headed middle son, he is the man of the house and often tries to prove himself the head of the family by hunting, gathering, and shooting everything that comes across in sight. Margot, the relatively well-behaved but aimless daughter, is greatly concerned about her appearance but generally engages herself with the local community. Then there is Mrs. Durrell, the head of the family, very level-headed, very sane, and very sensible, generally treats her eccentric and mad family with a lot of cheer and optimism and positive thought. There is Lucretia. She is the long-suffering part-time housekeeper of the Durrell household. And at last, there is Roger the dog. The lumbering dog is incredibly affable, lovable, and has great company for the family, but is often not the sharpest tool in the box. The story, in synopsis, is about a boy who brings Scorpion in his house, but in a very mysterious and secretive manner. And suddenly, when the scorpion is being revealed, the whole family is panic-stricken and they run helter-skelter, they run here and there because they are afraid of this scorpion. And it was a surprise visit of the scorpion to their house. And there were a lot of confusion amongst the family members when they saw the scorpion. There were different reactions of different people when they saw the scorpion. Somebody poured water on somebody's face, and then somebody was trying to bang the table. People were running here and there. There was complete chaos and confusion. Only the mother was a little worried, and she was not aware of why the pandemonium was happening. At last, when everything did settle down and everything came to and the commotion ended, then no one bothered to explain things to the main character, or rather to the boy, and only understood that he was responsible for the mayhem. At last, the mother and Leslie, some of them suggested that the scorpion must be again sent back to its original place. Therefore, the author spent a lot of time and picked up the scorpions and returned them to its original place. He carried them on a saucer, and with utmost eagerness and with utmost careful attitude, he went and spent the afternoon then on the hillside, and meanwhile he also carried the scorpions and kept them carefully so that they also do not feel panic, or they also do not feel afraid. Now let us read the story and let us know what actually happened. One day, I found a fat female scorpion in the wall, this is the author speaking, wearing what at first glance, that is at the first look, appeared to be a pale fawn fur coat. Very light, a very small fur type of coat was something which the author could understand. Closer examination proved that this strange garment was made up of a mass of tiny babies clinging to the mother's back. I was enraptured. Enraptured means struck or amazed by this family, and I made up my mind to smuggle them into the house and up to my bedroom. Now, this is where he understands or thinks that he can easily let the scorpions enter into the house without anybody knowing. With a lot of care, I somehow managed the mother and family into a matchbox and carried the scorpions there, and then hurried to the villa. It was rather unfortunate that just as I entered the door, lunch was served. However, I placed the matchbox carefully on the mantelpiece so that nobody is able to identify, so that the scorpions should get plenty of air, and made my way to the dining room and joined the family for the meal. This shows the author's love and care for the scorpions, and he doesn't want the scorpions also to feel claustrophobic or feel tired and exhausted. I completely forgot about my exciting new adventures. At last, Larry, one of the characters in the story, having finished, picked up the matchbox he had brought. Oblivious of the approaching doom and the what is going to happen when the matchbox is going to reveal, I watched him interestedly as, still taking glibly, he opened the matchbox. Now the actual scene is going to begin. Now I maintain to this day that the female scorpion meant no harm. She was agitated and a trifle annoyed at being shut up in a matchbox for so long, and so she seized the first opportunity to escape when she was given the opportunity to reveal from the matchbox. She hoisted herself out of the box, and with great rapidity, her babies clinging on desperately, and scuttled onto the back of Larry's hand. So the babies, 2 or 3 scorpion babies, they just scuttled back. They just moved back onto Larry's hand. They are not quite certain what to do next. She paused, her sting curved up at the ready. Larry, feeling the movement of her claws, glanced down to see what it was, and from that moment things got increasingly confused. He uttered a roar of fright that made Lucretia drop a plate and brought Roger out from beneath the table. Now this is what happens, that when the whole family, actually anything happens which is a little little bit confusing, and which is a lot of pandemonium or a chaos happens, the animal in the house, the pet animal, they sense that and they feel that, and but they're unaware of what is happening, and they actually try to feel the urgency and feel the exciting thing that happens. Whenever anything is confused, they also sense that. In the same manner here, Roger, the dog, also comes out from beneath the table, barking wildly. With a flick of his hand, he sent the unfortunate scorpion flying down the table, and she landed midway between Margot and Leslie. Scattering babies were thumped onto the cloth. Leslie leapt to his feet, overturning his chair, and flicked out desperately with his napkin, sending the scorpion rolling across the cloth towards Margot. Margot promptly let out a scream that any railway engine would have been proud to produce. So a scream which was so loud that even a railway engine would have been very proud to produce such sound. When this pandemonium was happening, suddenly Mother came, and Margot, in a vain attempt, and in an attempt to run, and also in an attempt to stop the scorpion from advancing towards her, she hurled a glass of water at Mother. The shower missed the animal completely and successfully drenched Mother, who, not being able to stand cold water, promptly lost her breath and sat gasping at the end of the table, unable to even to protest, because she obviously was aged and she could not take the cold water directly on her face, and she was gasping, she was panting for breath. The scorpion had now gone to ground under Leslie's plate, while her baby swam wildly all over the table. Roger was mystified by the panic, but determined to do his share, ran round and round the room barking without knowing what is the reason. "It's that silly boy again," bellowed Larry. Look out, they're coming," screamed Margot. "All we need is a book," roared Leslie. Everybody was roaring and shouting and screaming. They want to hit, and they want to somehow attack the scorpion, because before the scorpions infect or injure and cause any kind of injury to them. "It's that boy, he'll kill the lot of us. Look at the table, knee deep in scorpions. Quick, do something. Look out, stop screeching and get the book, for God's sake. You are worse than the dog. Shut up, Roger." "By the grace of God, I wasn't bitten. Look out, there is another one. Quick. These are all the kind of things which are happening while the state of confusion and a state of fright has gripped all the members in the family due to the scattering and due to the number of scorpions that have scattered the room. At last, that silly boy, every matchbox in the house is a death trap. So according to them now, as they have found the scorpions coming out from a matchbox, so every matchbox in the house, according to them, is a death trap from where any strange or any weird creature can come and harm them. "Look out, it's coming towards me. Quick, do something. Hit it with your knife. Go on, hit it." Since no one had bothered to explain things to him, Roger was under the mistaken impression that the family was being attacked and that it was his duty to defend them. Roger understood that there is somebody who is going to attack them and he needs to defend. As he's the dog, he needs to defend the family because there is somebody who is going to attack the family. That's what he presumed. As Lucretia was the only stranger in the room, he came to the logical conclusion that she must be the responsible party. So at last the dog bit Lucretia, the part-time housemaid. The dog bit Lucretia in her ankle, and this did not help matters very much, and the confusion and the pandemonium continued. By the time a certain amount of order had been restored, all the baby scorpions had hidden themselves under various plates and bits of cutlery. So there were a lot of utensils under which the scorpions were hiding themselves because they were also afraid, they were also scared why the family members were moving here and there. Eventually, after impassioned pleas on my part, backed up by Mother Leslie's suggestion that the whole lot should be slaughtered, killed and crushed, while the family, still simmering with rage and fright, retired to the drawing room, I spent half an hour rounding up the babies, picking them up in a teaspoon and returning them to their mother's back. So, at last the author decided that no, they should go back, they should return back to their mother's back. They should return back to their house where they belong to. They should not be in that place where they are not habituated, and also the family members will not like it. So he found it as a wise idea to return back the scorpions to their habitat. Then I carried them outside on a saucer and with the utmost reluctance released them on the garden wall. Roger and I went and spent the afternoon on the hillside, for I felt it would be prudent to allow the family to have a siesta before seeing them again. Siesta is a deep nap or sleep because they were very tired and exhausted and were running here and there, so they were a lot tired out of this kind of exciting and because of the fact that they were so much panic stricken, so they needed a short nap. And that is why Roger and the author thought that they should spend the afternoon on the hillside, leaving the family to relax and calm down a little. I hope the story is clear to you, and this is how it explains that if you are very careful and if you love the animals will also pay back that same love, that same care to you. But if you actually are in a state of confusion, you create pandemonium and chaos, then it will not help you and it will create problems. Thank you. I hope the explanation serves you and it will help you in framing the question answers and also for your future lessons. Thank you.